What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? You are tuned in to the Nights of Horror for the Mindless Horror Podcast presents scare actors from around the world. And today, right here in the U.S., we're gonna start in our home country right here. But we got a lot of great, talented people on, and today is no exception. We have a great talent today, Chuckles the Clown. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am just super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be doing these podcasts and super excited to be learning about other haunts within this country that we live in, because there's a lot, and there's a
There's a
lot of
lot.
there's a lot. I gotta make a list eventually and buy an RV and visit all of them. But there is a lot, and
Yeah.
you have the so first and foremost, let the people know where you haunt at, where you're located at, and where you are in the United States.
Currently I am in Ohio, so I am currently at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. Unfortunately, this was like my last event at my haunt because I'm going to be moving to Indiana, but I'm in the works with talking with some owners in Indiana, so I'm going to meet them at the Haunted House convention coming up here in a few days. So going to talk with them, but as of right now, currently at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory in Akron, Ohio, and I love it here. Yeah.
It sound. I mean, the name alone. I mean, is just a very. I mean, that would push me to go towards there. I think honestly, I love the name alone, but I think the one that for a lot of people that I think that went viral, a lot of people that saw a video of yours was the scaring a guest and then pulling up the tip option on your phone. I know I had a really good laugh on that one, and I know a lot of people in the community had a good laugh on that one. Talk to me about the idea of just one night pulling out the phone and busting that as a scare tactic, because I think that is not only hilarious, but it shows the reality of the world that we live in today of how much people are pressured to tipping.
Yeah, so like I saw like all these TikToks going around of people like pulling up tip things at like really weird places, and like I was sitting there like thinking about I was like, what if I did one for haunting? Because that'd be really funny. Because like it is funny because like I have gotten like tipped before. So I'm like, it's not like that unusual for me. So I was like, but what if I like asked for a tip? Like, how would that be? So like I ran it by like my friend. I was like, yo, does this idea for a TikTok like sound good at all? And I said the idea, and they're like, bro, that sounds hilarious as fuck. You should definitely do it. And I'm just like, oh my god, perfect. And so went to my haunt the next day. I was like, guys, I need you to be really cool for a second. I have a funny idea, and I need you guys to help me make it. And then we made it, and then it went viral, and like it went way more viral than I was expecting for it to go. Like I still get likes on it to this day, but it came out so well. I was so happy about it.
I love the thing I love the most about it too, when it comes to that video, is the fact that for me, what gets me every time is the scare happens, we point to the guest, then we point back to you, and just you have that blank stare on your face. But again, I think that's what breaks me every single time, was the fact that um you just stand there with that blank expression, and after the scare, and it was a loud, you can hear the echo and everything, and
Yeah.
just to see the blank expression, and kind of the guest is like, what do I do now? It's like you have the option tip.
Yeah.
That's such a genius idea, and I think that was a lot of fun, especially like you said, capitalizing on the whole pressuring on tipping and stuff, and bringing it into the world of scaring. I think that's just genius, and
Yeah.
bravo, it worked out, and it was a good one. I can't wait to hopefully eventually see a sequel one of these days.
One in the works that like I know of like what the next one is gonna look like. I just haven't gotten around to filming it. But like there is a sequel in the books.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. So talk to me about. I want to start with you from the beginning. Talk to me about what it was for you that drew you into the world of the Halloween horror and haunt scene.
I am originally from Rochester, New York. So that's where I first haunted. So I haunted at the Haunted Hayrides of Greater Rochester.
Oh, nice.
Originally, it was only supposed to be like a one-time thing. Like I had a retail job that I absolutely hated, and I was like, let me just do something fun for a month, whether it like even be like work at like Spirit Halloween, for example, like
Right.
just something more spooky and interesting. Because at that time I had been a special effects makeup artist for um quite a few years. So I wanted to do something. So I ended up building a portfolio and I went to a bunch of different haunted attractions and I got offers at all of them, which was great. But I went with one of them that I was like, no, this is the one that really spoke to me. And so, was supposed to be a one-time thing. And here I am, I think like 8 years later, and I'm still doing this.
I mean, I've always said it, and you're starting to see it more, and I think more and more every single year, as the years go on. But it's not even just a seasonal thing no more. This is a lifestyle, like, and a lot of people know that. You're starting to see Halloween and horror just pop up year round now. It's not just September and October. It used to just be October, then it went into September. Now it's just year round.
Yeah.
But you're seeing things, for example, like in Las Vegas over there, they're doing the year-round Halloween Horror Nights out there, which is going to be a game changer, I think, for the haunt industry. But
Yeah.
you're also seeing, like you said, there's things around the world that have all these, and you got all these opportunities just where you were, but there's also other things around the world that are just, growing and becoming more year-round and becoming more accessible for people that want to do it year-round. Talk to me a little bit about, you talked about makeup effects, special
Yes.
effects and all that. That to me is such a fascinating world and such a an art felt world of its own, because the things you're bringing to life on people is just incredible. I would watch Face Off religiously,
Yeah.
and just to see what they would do, and the little time span that they had was incredible. Talk to me about that world, and talk to me what it was like. Not only you said you had some experience in that, but to also bring that into the world of haunting as well.
I thought it was really cool because, like, I just saw people like this is back in the day before like special effects makeup really like blew up online. Like you see a lot of it today, like I see it all over my TikTok feed. But back in the day, it wasn't as big as it was.
Hmm.
And I saw like a few videos of it and I'm like, this seems really cool. I want to try it. So, for Halloween at school, I decided to try some special effects makeup and I did it. And I walked down the hall and like people were screaming at me. I was just walking down the hall. I wasn't even trying to scare anyone, but like I was scaring the shit out of people. And I'm just like, this is actually kind of cool. I was like, I didn't like, this is really fun to do. And I get this like really awesome payoff. This was awesome. So I started to do that a little bit more often. And every year I was like, okay, how do I up the ante? How do I make this even better than last year? And like people like started to know me as like the special effects person in my school because they're like, oh yeah, Chelsea always does something or Chuckles does something always good for like Halloween and stuff like that. And so then I started building up a portfolio. So when I went to a haunted attraction, I had like a nice portfolio I could show them, be like, this is all the makeups that I've done. And it was actually funny. The first haunt that I worked at, I was the only makeup artist at that haunt.
God,
So I
God
had
bless your
like,
soul. I'm hoping you got through it okay, because I know how that could be at a haunt.
yeah. Because like
Oh,
at that time, like that haunt like didn't really have makeup artists and stuff like that. And like that's what one of the ways that I like marketed myself. I was like, hey, like I can help bring your attraction like even better, like a step up because I have this expertise and stuff like that. So like that's part of the reason I got the job, which was awesome for me. And I got to
right.
do special effects makeup at there, and it was like a lot of fun, and I loved it.
I think that's incredible. And the reason why I bring up the whole idea of, it takes a lot of work, because I see these makeup artists every single year, especially at like Knott's Berry Farm, where that's my
Yeah,
local haunt, Knott's Scary Farm right there. And to see how they have to have people in chairs in and out within, I think the most time they get is like 20 minutes at
yeah,
most. And
yeah,
when you think about it logistically wise, of like how much talent are coming in and out, and how much they got to put on them, and what they got to put on them to sell that story, to sell that area, it's insane, because I've seen some pretty like out there makeup, just from like, you got that done in 20 minutes. I was like, wow, it looks incredible. So like I said, it comes down to, I'm assuming it comes down to like repetition, and just managing your time the best as possible, to try to maximize the look as best as possible, to get the look on that. What do you find for you? I don't know if you have any time limits or anything when it comes to that, but what do you find for you under like pressure like that? Like, what helps you the most to kind of keep cool and keep going?
um like just in general, like that was one thing I had to get used to was doing haunt makeup, which like, like I had this nice portfolio, but like with my portfolio, like I could have spent like 3 hours on a look, right?
Right.
We don't have that kind of time at a haunt or whatever. So I definitely had to like regroup and kind of figure out, okay, how do I do as much makeup as possible for all these people, but also like making sure it looks good, but not like too trashy, but like there's like, a healthy medium between the two.
Right.
Like haunt makeup is not always going to look as good as if you had like 3 hours to do it. Um, but that was just one thing that I had to learn is like to know my time and stuff like that. So like when I first started doing makeup, I actually would time myself and I'd like give myself a timer and then like if the timer went up, I was like, okay, I'm done with the makeup. Whether I was like half finished or not, I'm like, I'm done with the makeup. If I can get back to it later, I'll get back to it later and I'll do touch-ups later. But that was one thing that I just had to learn how to do that. And like currently at my haunt right now, I'm also a makeup artist and thankfully we have like 7 makeup artists, so I'm not the only person anymore. So that made it a lot easier that I actually could start taking my time a little bit more, which was really really nice that I could actually sit and work on a makeup for a little bit longer just because I knew I had 6 other people who were also working on makeup.
Getting the idea of timing yourself and just kind of getting it down, to kind of, I would just say for you, just to get that down in general. What is your fastest time putting on makeup on someone? Do you know that? Or
Probably like 10 minutes is probably the fastest I've ever done it.
wow.
There's been like certain like I have like go-to things where it's like a very like generic makeup look that I'm like, okay, this can go fucking anywhere. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do this. That'll do the gist and I can do it in like 10 minutes or less.
I think that's incredible work right there because, like I said, it does take a lot just to bring these looks to life every single night, and
Yeah.
again, to try to put them towards the stories that you're trying to sell to the general public and the audience is, it's always incredible. I always freak out when I see different looks and stuff because it's just there's so much that can be done. There's so many looks. There's so many things to bring to life. And then when you see and when you go to all these different haunts and everyone's doing different looks, everyone has different styles, different
Yeah.
stories they're all trying to tell. It's just incredible to see what group of individuals can do what, and I've been to so many haunts out here in Southern California that, you get to see it from the pro haunts to the indies, man. And I would say the indies go just as hard as the pro haunts, and I have to
Yeah.
say sometimes even better than the pro haunts.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and it makes me just so happy to see that next generation so hungry to get into that world and to show what they can do. Um, Now, with obviously doing makeup and stuff at your haunt, you also have the opportunity to go out there every night and scare.
Yeah.
Uh, for you, you said that obviously you went in the world of retail, wasn't really liking it. No one really likes the typical 9 to 5 job because we need to do it just to pay bills and everything. If we can
Yeah.
do haunt and horror and Halloween year round, and there are more opportunities these days to do it, but. Talk to me about what it was like for you stepping into the first time you ever scared. Were you nervous about it? Was it something that you had seen for many years that you were just like, I want to give this a try, or was it something that was just brand new to you? Like, how did you feel going into that first night as a monster?
My first night, I think I was definitely nervous because I'm like, I've never done this before. And it was actually because of like my makeup skills that like I got hired without having to be auditioned to. So like, they hadn't seen me act. They didn't know what I looked like. Like I had like theater stuff as a kid, but like I wasn't like a huge theater kid, but I did it like one summer or whatever. So like I kind of knew a little bit about how to act and stuff like that. So I was definitely nervous. Probably the thing that made me the most nervous, which is actually a funny story. So I used to have chlorophobia, which is the phobia of clowns.
Okay,
And
wow.
I used to be absolutely fucking terrified. Like I would have a panic attack if I was in the same room as someone dressed as a clown. Like it was really bad. And my first night, I text my boss because I was the makeup artist and I did my makeup before I went to the haunt. I was like, "Hey, where are you going to put me tonight?" And she's like, "We're going to put you in the clown room." And I said, "Great. This is perfect." So I was like, all right, I'm going to make myself into a clown and I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to get over my fear. And thankfully, I got over my fear. And that is actually how I got over my fear of chlorophobia was actually turning myself into a clown and like just seeing the process and being like, no, it's still me. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be okay. And so I was put in the clown room, and there was like a little area where I could like stand behind like this one mannequin and I could see people walking in without them seeing me. And so I used that to my advantage, and that's when I would like pop out and like laugh or scream or whatever it was. And I kept getting so many people, and like I had my bosses come through and they're just like, "Damn, you're doing like really good. We didn't realize how good you were." I was like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that."
Isn't that always the best feeling too? It's like, especially with you, like you said, going into it, kind of like didn't know what to expect, didn't know how it was going to be. You kind of get thrown in for you. It seems like kind of like at that deep end where it's like, it's sink or swim with me in this clown room. Like I'm either gonna hate this or I'm gonna love this. So I'm
Yeah.
so glad that to find out that you ended up loving it.
Yeah.
Because like you talked about having that phobia, and then to see you play a clown, it's like a full circle kind of thing. It's like conquering your fear by
Yeah.
becoming what you were scared of, and I feel like you see that in a lot of like, for example, for a lot of movies and stuff, someone always has to become what they're scared of to conquer
Yeah.
what they can do. Um, and I think that's just great because I do hear a lot of tales like that, especially with like clown scare zones over here, that a lot of people are scared of clowns. Then
Hmm.
they become the role, and it's just like a whole different person. It's like you
Yeah.
kind of a split personality comes out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but you love to see it, and you love hearing these kind of stories because I would have never guessed before meeting you that you had that, to be honest with you, to see you
Yeah.
dressed up as this clown, to see you on TikTok, to see what you do, and then to hear that, it's like it's kind of mind-blowing to see how
Yeah.
far you've come. Speaking about how far you come, how long have you been scaring for total?
I think 8 years, because it was 3 years at my first haunt, which was the Haunted Hayrides of Greater Rochester. Then during COVID, I went to Frightmare Farms in Syracuse, New York. And then I think I just finished up my fourth season here at Akron Haunted School Lesson Laboratory. So I think 8 years now.
8 years total. Wow, that's impressive right there. um and so you talk about, that year one getting in, basically that was kind of finding yourself as the character and kind of really introducing what you could do. Uh, you take all that and you go into your year two. How does it go for you year two? I mean, I'm assuming that after year one, you've fallen in love with this thing. You couldn't get enough. You wanted to have some more. You come back for year two, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you're a force to be reckoned with come year two.
Yeah, because definitely like after year one, like my bosses, they saw like how good I was in any scene. And so like they put me in like back in the day, like at that haunt, like being in like the final barn scene, because like the tractor would bring you through a barn and a scene would play out, and then the tractor would leave and everyone would like chase the wagon and stuff like that. But I got to be in the final barn. And that was like a big deal back then because like first years typically didn't go in the final barn. And so they saw how good I was with doing that stuff. And so afterwards, they're like, next year, they're like, we actually want you to like play a role in the development of the haunt and stuff like that. So I actually got onto the build team um, going into like my second year at the haunt because I like was so obsessed with everything that I'm like, I need more. What can I do? Like, what can I build something? Can I design something? Anything like that. And so like my last year at that haunt, they actually gave me final control over the final barn scene. So I had control over the entire scene. I did the painting, I did the makeup for that scene. Basically anything around that scene, I was in charge of like the grand finale, which was like one of the best like honors I've ever been given like at a haunt, which was like super, super fucking cool.
I would imagine to have full creative control of that kind of the ending scene and to make it you and to make it yours. Like, yeah, it's like it's like the basically it's like saying people, how they have their precious kind of like things. This was yours. This was kind of like, hey, they're trusting me with the freedom of this area. This is the finale, and I'm gonna give it my all and do it. And I'm assuming you did an amazing job. I mean, obviously.
I think I got a lot of good remarks because this was also like this was the very first time in our haunt's history that as a female I was the female lead in
Oh,
the final barn.
nice.
They never had a female lead, and there was even some people that were like, I don't know how this is going to play out. Like we've never had, a girl like lead the final barn. It's always been like a strong built like guy or whatever, very intimidating. But I'm like, no, trust me, like I got this. Like I will get this. And like we got so many great reviews on it. So I think it went really well.
No, 100%. I'm glad to see that too. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. So when I see that women today are thriving, and I think honestly are, in my opinion, more the show now than the men are these days.
Yeah.
Just because of what they can do in the ring athletically and everything. You know, you look at what's going on in the haunt world, it's very similar. I've always compared wrestling and the haunt world to like very similarities, like, you know, with a lot of things, but you starting to see this wave, and it's been happening for a minute, but now you're starting to see even more of a lot of female talent coming in and fucking killing the game. No matter what they're doing, and I'm seeing it across the board from like build to tech to makeup
Hmm.
to scaring, all that stuff, leading. It is incredible to see more females get out there, especially with sliding. You don't see a lot of
Yeah.
female sliders, and you're starting to
Yeah.
see that across the board more and more each year. And I think it's incredible to see how much of an impact that women have on this industry, because I feel like a lot of women that can come, they could come and play any fucking role, any role,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely any role. And I've seen it, and I've seen them play. I've seen them play men. I've seen them play women. I've seen them play the girliest of girls. I've seen them play the nastiest of girls. Like it is,
Yeah.
I've seen it all, and it's incredible. And then when you meet these people, they're nowhere near that. Obviously, you know what I mean. They're some of the nicest people, some of the coolest people, and some of the most interesting people to talk to.
Yeah.
Um, so to hear that you had that kind of play and doing that, and they trusted you with that, I mean, that is awesome. I'm pretty sure there's footage of it on the internet somewhere, and
Yeah.
I gotta definitely look it up, because I was talking to some people out in Australia the other day that do that scare and stuff, and to see what they do out there, you know. And I was looking it up on YouTube, and that's been what's fun about it. This is talking with everyone and then seeing, going on YouTube and doing a deep dive of their haunts. So I will be definitely doing a deep dive of the haunts that you've been a part of, because like I again, there's so much in the world that I got to see what's going on and see what's worth coming out to. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're all worth coming out to, because there's so much
Oh yeah,
talent
for sure.
everywhere. So talk to me about, you said you did a solid 3 years at this haunt,
Yep.
and by the end it seemed like by the end of your time there, it seemed like they really they put a lot of trust into you. They seemed like they had
Yeah.
a good vision as to where they wanted to see, where you were going in that world. Pandemic hits.
Yep.
That is, I think, the worst time for anyone. I know it was a very shitty time over here in California. Luckily, there were things here and there that were popping up that kind of kept Halloween alive, but it still didn't
Yeah.
feel completely like Halloween. What was the pandemic like for you, and how did you overcome that? And what did you do during the pandemic?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, my home haunt actually got shut down because it was a haunted hayride. There was like no possible way to like get that many people like on the wagon or whatever. Like it wasn't feasible. So I was like, I was like gonna take a year off from haunting because I was like, I wanted to be at my home haunt. But then I was like, I met one of my friends from a modeling gig actually. So it was like a Friday the 13th modeling gig that I was friends with. And I was like, wait a second, you work at a haunted house. And I'm like, you're not that far away from me. Where do you work? So he got me in contact with my boss or the boss. And I called one of my buddies up from my old haunt and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going to this new haunt. Do you want to come with me? And he's like, sure. So we ended up going to the haunt together and working there together. And that was actually the first time that I got into Q acting.
Okay.
So they my my bosses and stuff, they all put in good recommendation for me because at this point I had not Q acted. The first 3 years of my haunt, like they would let me because I was the final scene, like I would be able to go run around like and play with the people for a little bit, and then like as long as I got back to my scene before like the first wagon got there, like I was allowed to do that. And I'm like, I loved Q acting, like that was so fun, like getting to like really see the people, and I love that. So my boss has put in like a good word for me at the new haunt, and so they allowed me to Q act, and that was like my first time Q acting ever, and I was super nervous. That I think I was more nervous for that than my first night of haunting, to be honest, because I'm like,
I
oh
can
my gosh,
imagine.
I have to like entertain all these people in really long lines and stuff like that.
Because
And
in that form, you're seeing everybody. Like
Yes, you're seeing
everybody.
everyone for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
It's not like 10 seconds. Like you're seeing them for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah.
it ended up working out really well that I did a really good job and they loved me. And so like anytime that I would come back to that haunt to visit, like for several years, I would always like drive back at least once during the season to go guest act at that haunt. And they would always let me cue act and it was super fun. Um, I had to get creative with makeup during the pandemic because I'm like, okay, what can I do that's gonna like freak people out from 6 feet away?
Yeah.
So I made a mask that it was, just like a regular COVID mask, but I made it so it was like instilled what is called tryptophobia, which is the phobia of holes. Apparently,
Oh.
like a lot of tight knit holes, it makes people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I
And so
never
I made
understood that. Like I've even myself went to go look at pictures and just to see like nothing bothers me about it. Like I don't. But again, there, yeah, it's a real thing, and
yeah,
I
so
like
like
where this is going.
so it freaked a lot of people out, and like it's from 6 feet away, which was very effective. There was like actually a few times I almost made some people throw up because they were just like, I
Oh
can't look at
my
your mask.
god.
And I'm just like, cool, I did a good job. Cause like I remember like going downstairs to my basement making it up, and then I like go upstairs to my parents. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think of this? They're like, that feels uncomfortable. I'm like, good, that's what I'm trying to get.
I aimed for what I created then.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people who do Q line scaring, and it's pretty good to see the fact that like because you have to be quick and on the spot there. I know that also you're constantly looking around at people to see who you can interact with and who's gonna be decent with you to interact with. That's another thing is and any scare actor will tell you this. Your senses become heightened during haunt as far as
Yeah.
who's around you, you hearing just to hear if anything goes down, just the sight, your senses are everywhere during haunt because of the fact that not only are you looking out for yourself, but you're looking out for your former employees as well. And yeah, I can only imagine though how much fun and how much shit you could talk during the queue lines. It's just that's the fun part about it is getting the freedom to kind of either mess with people or encourage people or however you want to turn the night. Was there obviously you dealt with a lot of obviously I know in the haunt world there's a lot of assholes sometimes that you got to deal with. But talk to me about more of the positive experiences that you've had with guests because I don't think that all of them were bad. And you probably had a couple of kids that were probably too scared and then maybe an interaction with you helped them conquer that going in or just other adults that were just simply cool enough to like acknowledge what you did or how you're looking. Like talk to me about some of the positive experiences of that.
Like more than not, like I've had more positive experiences than negative ones. Like being a Q actor, like, because that's what like I do at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. Like my first year at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse, I was in the house, but they let me Q act for one night, and then after that one night, like the actor trainer at the time was like, "Hey, we totally like should have been having you Q act this entire time. Like this is where your talents shine." I was like, "Thank you." So like ever since then, I became a Q actor, but like it's really like you got to understand the psychology of people. Because you got to understand like by somebody's body language, like is this person like scared shitless right now, or is this person like having a good time? Has this person had a few beers maybe? So like got to understand who your demographic is and like what you're looking at. And so I do tailor like my acting to those individuals. So like if I see someone's like not having a good time or whatever, I'm going to be a lot more warm and welcoming, and I'm like, for example, like I give out like stickers of my character at my haunt and
I just
whatnot.
saw this
And
TikTok
so
the other day too. The sticker
yeah,
one.
yeah. So I give out stickers, and like sometimes like if I see someone like really not having like a good time or whatever, I'll give them a sticker. I'll be like, if you face your fear, you can get this sticker or whatever. And like they'll go through the haunt, and I'll see them afterwards. I'm like, you did a good job. Here's your sticker.
You get the
And
sticker.
so like and some of them is like funny because there was one lady who I gave a sticker to, and she had an intense phobia of clowns, but she
Oh.
still accepted the sticker. And it was so funny because like they came back later in the season and they told me how like she has the sticker like in her house, but it's like covered up.
She's like, I don't want to be mean because this person went out of their way to give me it, but I don't
Yeah,
want to look at it at the same time.
I just don't want to look And I'm like, you know what? Cool. If that works for you, that's great. Like, I'm glad you had a good
I'm
experience.
glad you got a sticker you can never look at.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. No, I that's the thing I love about especially not only with the talent, but also with the community as a whole. You're starting to see, like, I don't know if at your haunt people have given you the friendship bracelets.
I haven't
Um,
seen it.
so over here in SoCal, and I've been seeing it pop up a couple other places, but people are showing up. They're actually making those beaded friendship bracelets and everything, and they are giving them to the monsters.
Cool.
And usually they're decking them out to their colors, to their looks, whatever relates to them. They'll put a word that relates to them or something. But
Yeah.
um, I see a lot of that. I do see stickers. I
Yeah.
went as far one time to make patches of our logo, and I was handing them out to like a lot of my close friends on the streets because I only had so many that I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure all my close friends got a patch. But I would give out a ton of stickers, and for me, and this is gonna sound so cheesy, that shows you what kind of business I'm in. I feel like I've made it if I've made it on to someone's haunt box. Um,
Yeah. I know, right?
and like I said, it's gonna sound cheesy, and I think it's just because what I do, because I'm talking to so many scare actors a lot, like all the time. So like when I see someone that I know and they have my sticker on them, I'm like, damn, that makes me feel good. That does.
Yeah.
It really does. I don't know what it is. It's
Yeah.
just you get giddy inside. It's like, oh, you feel like a kid
Yeah.
again.
I've
Um,
seen it like so many times where people like put my sticker like on their phone case, and I'm just like, oh my God, you get to see me every single day. This is the coolest thing ever.
take a selfie. You're in the selfie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like take a picture in the mirror.
Yeah.
Um, no, I think that's great, especially, and I think also it's a great way to not only you know get out your information to people and kind of give out like how people can follow you and stuff, but it's also a way of great interaction between the guest and the talent to kind of get that, and it's gonna make, in my opinion, it's gonna make that person want to come back next year. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I had a great time, and this person gave me this, and maybe this person will have a collection of stickers each year that I'll
Yeah.
just grab another one and add to the collection. So it makes people want to come back, makes people talk about you.
Yeah.
Have you gotten out of all this, out of, I love the covering of the sticker in the house. That's hilarious. Have you ever gotten any other nice compliments from people who have you've given stickers, or just who thought you were doing a really great job scaring from a guest point of view? Has anyone just come up to you and been like, hey, you're doing an amazing job. Keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm so incredibly thankful that like I've received so many of those compliments before. So like when I was at currently Akron Haunted Schoolhouse, like I would always go back to Frightmare Farms like for a weekend each year. And it was amazing that like so many people would like come out specifically to see me. Like they like follow my Instagram. They're like, I heard you were coming out this weekend and I really wanted to see you. I've had people from TikTok like come to my haunt and say like I really wanted to see you, or like people like every single year like they're like, oh my gosh, I got a photo with you last year. Can I get a photo with you this year and stuff like that? And so like it's like a tradition for a lot of these people to get their photo with me every year, and it's just like it warms my heart so much that like I am part of that haunt tradition for them. That like I am like that recognizable character that they're like, hey, it's Chuckles the Clown again. We got to get a picture. And
You
so I
know,
love that.
I love that you just said that, because I do see that across the board, and I'm glad that people are coming out and supporting you, and coming to see, especially because, like you said, people like to make it a yearly thing to get that picture. Maybe you have a different look than you did last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You tweak some stuff. You have that whole year to kind of figure out a new character, or to tweak some stuff for that existing character. Um, and I heard that I was doing another podcast, and they told me that there was one weekend where they weren't there, but then they got a call up to come back. And when they came back, like they came back because people were literally asking for them to be there.
Yeah.
And to hear that, to hear like, hey, I came last year because I saw you, and now I'm here this year because I was hoping to see you again, and here we are. That to me, just as a fan, warms my heart. But I can
Yeah.
only imagine how it feels for you guys. It probably goes to another level for you guys of like, wow, you came out just to support me and come see the haunt. Like, that's awesome. Like, I hope you really do have a fun night tonight. Hope you have a great night tonight. Because again, it's becoming more of a lifestyle every year. And I think with people like you who put up TikToks and stuff, we are spreading more awareness to
Mhm.
this world and everything, especially you on your page. I know you also do a lot of makeup looks, which I find completely fascinating. My girlfriend is on the same thing with makeup. I mean, you talked about her it takes her about 3 or 4 hours just to do her look.
Yeah.
And she's still she gets it down faster and faster. I feel like every time I see her do it, but, it's incredible to see how much this industry has grown. And I'm so thankful and glad that people like you, people like me are both in it, because we get to both spread the awareness of, hey, come check us out. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether we're the craziest people in the planet, but I guarantee you we're not nearly as crazy as others.
Yeah.
We're probably some of the nicest people you'll meet.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've met some of the nicest people in this
yeah,
industry that are like my lifelong friends that
yeah,
like, I have my haunt husbands and my haunt wives or whatever. I call them that all the time or whatever, just because like I'm just so close knit with these people that it's like I can't imagine them like not being in my life.
right. You got you got friends, you got, again, extended family and everything. Like, that's what it is. That's what it becomes. And I'm the same way. There's so many people that, in the industry that I consider really close friends that I don't know where I would be without them, that have really helped me and helped bring me up as well. And I've tried to return the favor and everything. Um,
Yeah.
but it's incredible to see how much this has become a worldwide phenomena. Have you had the opportunity to come out to the West Coast to see any of the haunts out here?
I have not been to the West Coast yet to see haunts. I've been to like the Midwest. I've been to the Northeast. Not really the South that much. I try to go on like the haunted house conventions as much as I can. So I try to do that as much as I can so I can see as many different haunts, because you go to different haunts and you get so many new ideas, you get
Yeah.
so many inspiration. Like it's so cool to see how other haunts do it. Like I have a running list on my phone of every single haunt that I've ever been to. And it just keeps growing like every year, because like if I have the opportunity to go to another haunt, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Um, that's just what it boils down to, because I'm like, I want to see what everybody else is doing, because everyone always does something so amazing, and there's always that something that like the haunt will excel at that I'm just like, that is so cool. What can I do that's like similar to that, maybe a little bit different, but like what can I do to like kind of take that idea, because like that's such a good idea.
If you ever come down to the West Coast, I'm going to highly suggest two haunts you need to check out.
Okay, what are they?
And you probably know about them. They're very famous in the haunt world. The first one, obviously, not Scary Farm.
Yep,
Uh,
that's on my bucket list for
that
haunts.
that is the granddaddy of them all. That was the one that started it all. That's where sliding was birthed.
Yeah.
There's so much history there, and I always tell people, like, you're not gonna know it in the time, but I want you, like, if you ever do go, just take a moment and just stand in Ghost Town. Just stand in
Yeah.
it and just enjoy it, because that's where a lot of history was made right there, and
Yeah.
there's just so much. It's just being in Fog Alley. It's something
Yeah.
about it. You're just like, damn, this, you can't see a thing. You can barely see your damn hand in front of your face, but it is just incredible to be a part of that vibe, and the lighting, the sound effects, to hear the screams. It's
Yeah.
it's so amazing, and I'm already looking forward to haunt season this year.
Yeah.
And it's only February.
Yeah.
And then the other one that just came back this last year, Queen Mary's Dark Harbor.
Yep. I had a feeling you were gonna say that. I knew it.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, if I can like think two haunts in the West Coast, what are they? And those were both the haunts I was thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention Queen Mary has the rich history, and obviously it's filled with paranormal experiences on the ship,
Yeah.
and I've gotten the opportunity to actually stay on the ship for a night. It's a beautiful ship. If you have the extra money, I highly suggest staying at least one night on the ship. It's very,
Yeah.
very. We were up to like 3, 4 in the morning, just walking around the whole ship, just looking around, just being nosy. But the haunt itself is just incredible, and I think that what they were able to do with the comeback of that haunt this year was incredible. So yeah, definitely add those. I know those are on your bucket list, but those are definitely the two that you have to come see when you come down. And then obviously, if you're ever down during the summertime, come check out Midsummer Scream.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
That's the Halloween and horror convention out here in Southern California. But the one I want to go to big time is Trans World. That's the one I really want to go to.
Yep, that I'll be going there in a few days.
Oh, I know it's coming up. It's this. What is it? Is it this weekend or
Uh,
is it next
yeah,
week?
it's this weekend.
This
Yep.
weekend,
So
okay.
it starts on Thursday. So I'm driving out on Wednesday.
Look up my buddy Rib Effects. They do pretty much props and stuff for haunted houses.
I
But
think I've heard of them, so that sounds
yeah,
familiar. I've
the
probably seen them.
the owner is one of my buddy's cousins, so I got to talk to him too, and I'm trying to get out there to Seattle to come see his shop, but eventually we'll get there. But yeah, I Transworld is definitely one I want to check out. I think if you're a haunter, if you're in the industry, like this is you have to see this once in your lifetime.
Yeah. It's like it's mind-boggling like cuz like I first went to Transworld like on a whim where it was like maybe 2 weeks before Transworld and I texted my buddy. I said, "Hey, do you want to go to Transworld? Like I could actually do it." And we're just like, "Yeah, sure." And so that was like my first time there and like I met so many people that like I've met through like Instagram or TikTok at this convention because I was like all these people that I mutually follow and like have talked about for like ever like I got to meet them and it was so cool. And so like every trans world, like I just know more and more people and I have more and more connections and it's like so awesome. So like last year I was working for Trans World Live, which was a really great opportunity. This year I'm going to be modeling for Macabre Intentions and then also modeling for a company called Scream Score, which will be really, really cool. So I'm excited that like I get to cross that off my bucket list because I've always wanted to model at Trans World. Like that always has been a dream of mine. But like finally is coming true and I'm like so excited for that.
So are you doing an actual like full like are you gonna be doing like a full makeup demo kind of thing too? Are they gonna have you kind of sit there? Or are you gonna already be modeling? Is it anything makeup related that's gonna be with that, or is that just are you just straight up modeling?
So for Macabre Intentions, I'm mostly modeling their costumes. So I'm
Okay.
gonna have a couple different costumes that I'm gonna be modeling. They're gonna do my makeup for that, whatever costume it is gonna be. For Scream Score on Sunday, I'm gonna be a model for makeup. So one of my best friends, her name is Gabrielle. She is my makeup manager at my haunt and also one of my best friends. And she's going to be doing my makeup at that booth on Sunday. And I'm really, really excited because, like, I love when she does my makeup. Like, I always feel so super pampered.
I
It's always
can
so
I could sit there for hours and watch that stuff. I we go to conventions out here. Monster Palooza is out here that does it the
yeah,
most, and I just love watching people do the makeup look from the ground up. It
yeah,
is just such an incredible journey. But also to see like people model, like you said, different costumes and everything, just to show you what's popping in the industry right now.
yeah,
Um, you're gonna have to definitely get some footage of that this weekend, as far as also like both days. But I really am. I do want to see what that makeup look looks like after it's all said and done.
yeah.
Um,
I'll definitely be taking lots of pictures and videos. So my Instagram and TikTok will probably be flooded with that content.
yeah, I mean, because again, like I said, I could sit there for hours and just watch those makeup demos. I mean, those things are
Yeah,
so sick. It's like watching Face Off in person.
yeah,
It is just incredible to see those and such again talented people to
yeah,
bring that realism of those creatures or those monsters or whatever they're trying to bring to life to life. So,
yeah,
yeah, so much. You're gonna have to let me know how Trans World is this year. I know this is a big time thing for the industry. A lot of people in
yeah,
the industry will go get their shopping done for the season.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I definitely that is on my bucket list to get out there one day. And I'm glad that
yeah,
you had the opportunity to not only visit, but you have the opportunity to be a part of it
yeah.
as well. So if anyone wants to go see Chuckles this weekend at Trans World, or
Yeah.
actually it would have already happened, but if you
No.
did see Chuckles at Trans World, I'm pretty sure she killed it and freaking had a great, amazing look on her and modeling some great costumes that are coming to the haunt industry. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
Manifesting it. It'll be great.
Manifesting it, yeah, enjoy it, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
That takes place. What does that take? Does that take place in St. Louis still?
Yes, St.
It
Louis.
does. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You got to get out there one day. That's on my bucket
Yeah.
list for sure. So talk to me about to kind of wrap up this journey that we had, because you seem like you've had a long you've had 8 years in the industry. You've done it all from makeup to, it seems like, being part of a creative control standpoint as far as certain scenes and stuff, and you've had a lot of creative output of how your character is and everything. Talk to me about where you are currently, and where you see yourself going for either the next season or the future to come.
Well, I'll be completely honest. I feel like I peaked this past season because
uh
my haunt was on the Legendary Haunt Tour, which is a really prestigious thing to be a part of. And that was probably like the highlight of my haunting career was just being a part of the legendary haunt tour, because so many like big name people that like I've known about for so many years like came to see my haunt and to see me. And like some of them, like there's like one guy who's like, he gave me his business card. He's like, I love what you do, you're amazing, like contact me sometime, let's talk. And like afterwards we were like talking at the bar for like 2 hours. It was great. But like I saw like these big name people, then I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm freaking out a little bit. That, yeah, honestly, that was probably my most nervous time, was to like go in front of all these like big name people. So like I feel like in a sense like I peaked at the legendary haunt tour, but like I don't know. I'm still gonna keep my wind and just like keep going. So I don't know what haunt yet I will end up at. Like I said, I'm in talk with a few haunts, at least, well, one haunt really out in Indiana. So we'll see where I end up there. Um, but yeah, so
I got to get out to the East Coast, Midwest, all that stuff.
yeah,
I got to get out there. The
I love
closest,
those conventions. Those are like very much more haunter centered.
yeah,
So like if like honestly for like just a regular like haunter, if like this is what you've been doing your whole life, I would recommend going to like an East Coast or an Midwest or one of those conventions as opposed to Transworld, because Transworld's more a trade show. It's more for like the
the
owners and stuff like
industries, yeah.
that. But like those other ones, like those other conventions, like you're allowed to walk around in your character and stuff like that. It's like way more like haunter focus, and like
Yeah.
it's just a really nice balance.
Yeah, we have a few out here that we do throughout the year. We just had one in the beginning of February called Creep IE, which is it's in the Inland Empire, so that's why they call it the IE part.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty well known. That's coming up. That's a newer convention. They focus more on like the celebrities of the horror world and stuff. So I think the entire Scream cast was just there, and
Yep.
stuff like that. Like John Berthal was there. Like all these celebrities come out. Last year, put a kind of sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Waited 3 hours in line to try to meet Charlie Hunnam for Sons of Anarchy, and
Yeah.
halfway through that line, they told me his line was done. So
Oh.
I didn't get to meet him, and I was very disappointed in that. So I didn't go.
Oh.
I didn't go this year because of that. But
Oh.
you know, I got to meet Ron Perlman. He was kind of an asshole, but you know, it's okay. Still had a great time. But that Midsummer Scream, Monster Palooza, all these are happen throughout the year. Monster Palooza is more focused on like the makeup side of things, the FX side of things.
Yeah.
Midsummer Scream is for the industry. It's all the big name haunts and stuff come out. They even have a whole thing called the Hall of Shadows, which is like a mini haunt where all these independent haunts come together and they put on like this whole hall of just haunts. So that's fun to go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see it out here a little, but I know there's more out there. Like I know there's one that's just dedicated to masks, and I want to go
Yeah.
check it. I want to go check that out.
Yeah.
Because there was a show that me and my girlfriend were watching about a mask maker, and I forget what it was called. It was a really good show. This older gentleman, and he had this whole crew, and he went out to this convention. I was like, I want to go check out that convention.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much out there, and again, especially where you're at, that's where I think a lot of those people set up those conventions, because there's just so
Yeah.
much independent, so much pro haunts out there that they're taking advantage of the industry, and they're taking advantage of people coming out to see what they have to offer. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Again, the only thing I think I've been out as far as the East Coast goes is Halloween Horror Nights out in Florida.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I've done that, but I've yet to experience any other states. I would like to get a map and try to start marking off the map of every state that I've been to and haunts that I've been to on
Yeah.
said things. So that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, I when I decided that I wanted to do scare actors from around the world for our podcast theme this month, you were part of that sole inspiration of like, hey, she's out in the United States somewhere. She's not the only one. I know she's not the only one out here in
Yeah.
the world of scary. And so I want to interview people who scare in other places of the world that we don't
Yeah.
get to see every single day out here on the West Coast. So, and also to try to give some notoriety,
Yeah.
to people that don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
For sure.
and not to mention when we've been in the world in general, in a time where we are so divided, I thought this was a great way to bring people together,
Yeah.
from all races, all whatever you follow, it doesn't matter. we all share one interest, and that's the love of haunt. And
Yeah.
I've always said the haunt community is, like I said in the beginning, is one of the nicest communities you'll ever meet. Very accepting of every single person, no matter what you represent as. Um, Everyone knows that in the end of the day, everyone's a human being, and that's the
Yeah.
most important part of us being. And just again, be nice to people. That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking. Like I've watched my girlfriend do something that was super incredible the other day when we went to stop and give homeless some supplies so they can just survive. Just be nice to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why we're in this industry. We scare because we care.
Yeah, and the haunt community is like it's such a beautiful community. Like always like before I ever started haunting, I always felt like I was like missing something in my life. Like something wasn't there. And then once I got to the haunt community, I'm like this is it. This is the family that I needed. Like this is the support system that I need to have around me. And like ever since then, like I felt like nothing but like such a sense of community and just like camaraderie from like all these people that are like all these friends that I have that are like all across the country that like I never would have met if I hadn't like gotten into this or like gotten into TikTok and stuff like that. Like it's just wild like how crazy this beautiful community is.
I know, and it's again, it blows me away that haunt, which started right here in the U.S. and to see it blow up and go global,
Yeah.
especially to see how other cultures celebrate Halloween and whatnot, is just
Yeah.
incredible to see that. There's people doing this in Australia, there's people doing this in Germany, there's people doing this in Japan, Mexico, Canada, and of course, a ton of people spread out through the U.S. Because this
Yeah.
is the home base. The U.S. is like that home base of the all things Halloween and horror,
Yeah.
but it is incredible to see what everyone is doing in the world. And again, if I can clone myself, I'd be interviewing every single person that I could possibly get my hands on just to get their story out there, because
Yeah.
there's so many stories to be told and so many people for people to meet and everything that I feel like we're just getting started in this fun journey that is characters from around the world. And I can't wait for people to see this. I can't wait for people to see throughout the whole month of March of what we have in store for you guys. So if you can give anyone any advice that is brand new coming to this world, that wants to do this, and maybe someone saw you do this and drew inspiration from you, what would be the things, words of advice that you would give them stepping into this world for the first time?
Um, oh gosh, I have to think really deeply about this. Um, I think one of my biggest like advice for getting into this industry is being comfortable with being kind of silly. Like we're dressed up in costumes, we got like creepy makeup on, and like sometimes people feel like a little bit silly, but like you have power behind all of that. Like your costume gives you power, your makeup gives you power, your acting skills gives you power. And like you use that power and you scare the shit out of people and it's like the most rewarding feeling ever. So just like know that like you are built up for success, that like it's going to be okay. It's going to be kind of scary at first, but like just know that like the customers are way more scared of you than you are of them.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be okay.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better any better myself. That was really good advice right there. Uh yeah, just don't, it's going to be all right. You're going to get
Yeah.
through it. And again, you always have people to fall back on within the same that are probably going through the same exact thing as you.
Yeah.
So it's always great to talk to your fellow employees. They'll always give you the best advice and always actually help you pump you up out there too. So
Yeah.
always a good time. Uh Last question, probably the hardest question that we always ask our guests. What is your favorite scary movie?
So my favorite scary movie has got to be Friday the 13th Part 3. I love when he
Ooh.
got his mask. It was so iconic. I'm a huge Friday the 13th fanatic. That was like the very first horror movie like that I watched the entire franchise and I just like fell in love with it. So I was like that's what really kind of like got me into horror was Friday the 13th. So like it holds like a very special place in my heart.
I'll tell you this then, and you'll probably have a lot of appreciation for this. One year I went to Monster Palooza, and I had to use when we just got there, me and my buddy, and we're in the lobby and everything. And in the lobby is where they have all the celebrities do autographs.
Yeah.
So I told them, I was like, hey, I got to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Walk over to the restroom. I'm walking in. Kane Hodder is walking out. Right? I look
Oh,
I look
cool.
Kane Hodder dead in the eyes, and I go, "Sir, you are a fucking badass. And he goes, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And we just went on with our day.
That was awesome.
I'll never forget that moment that I got to look Jason Voorhees in the eyes and call him a badass. Like, that was just, to me, that was as a horror fan, that was just, it's right there. It's right there.
Right in the heart.
Right in the heart. Yeah. I also noticed, I can't leave without saying this, but in the back right there, I see some Godzilla. I'm a big Godzilla fan myself.
I love
as well.
Godzilla. Oh
Gotta love Godzilla.
Big thighs. I love it.
Gotta love Godzilla. Ain't no one can take down the king right there. I just picked up Godzilla and Kong versus the Justice League, so I'm excited to read that.
Oh, cool.
That should be interesting. I'm curious to see who's going to win that fight. Where could people follow you to see you? Obviously, you're on TikTok. That's where I found you. That's where I seen you for the first time. But where can people follow you on social media if they want to keep up with you for the Halloween side of things?
I am on Instagram and TikTok. Both of my usernames is Chuckles the Clown with 2 N's, so Clown NN. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's where you can find Chuckles the Clown. Make sure you go, and hopefully you saw her at Trans World. If you did, hope you guys all said hi. Hope you guys had a great time. But make sure to go see her this season at whatever haunt she participates in, and I'm pretty sure she will be letting you guys know about that information as soon as she's allowed to let you know about that information. Yep. So keep an eye on the socials, and you'll find out where she's scaring this year. But Chuckles, I want to thank you so much for the time. I know that thank you again for working with me. Technical difficulties, I know we had to reschedule the day, but I'm so happy and grateful and thankful that we got to do this, got to get your story out there, and I'm glad that I can say that I've made a new friend that is somewhere else in the world, and continuing to build those connections, so eventually when we do get out there, we're not going in blind. We know people. We can go visit people and make a whole thing out of it. But thank you so much for all that you do, not only as a what we like to call him, monster or a clown, but as what you do in general with makeup and your involvement in the haunt and horror industry. It takes an army to do it, but it's individual people that also bring things to the table that without those individual people, you wouldn't have that army to do it. So thank you so much for all you do, and I wish you the best this season, and have a great time at Trans World this weekend. Have a great just year in general, and big and better things. And you said you hit your peak. No one truly hits their peak ever. There's something. There's always something more that can elevate that even more. And you think you found it right now, but I guarantee you something's gonna come where it's gonna elevate it to like that much more. So keep going, because I think you got big things ahead of you. And you're honestly a jack of all trades from what I've seen. You can do the makeup, you can do the scaring. Don't forget, leave a damn tip the next time you see her. Okay, leave a tip. Okay,
I do accept tips. Putting that out there.
Leave a tip. Okay, she just scared you. That takes a lot of effort. Leave a tip. I know. I've seen people lose their voice after the first hour of the first day of haunt. So I know it takes a lot of effort. With all that being said, though, tune in next week for another episode of Scare Actors from around the world. We got 2 in the U.S., 2 outside of the U.S. Very exciting stuff. But if nothing else more, I'm your host, Anthony. You can follow us on Nights of Horror across the board on all of our socials. Make sure to subscribe, leave some likes and comments down below this video. Stay spooky.